recently had the opportunity to fly Air India's newest onboard product aboard the Airbus A350-900. After a work trip to India, I had to make my way back to North America, and I thought that this would be a perfect chance to try it out. Now, since Air India took delivery of its first Airbus A350 in January 2024, I'd heard lots of great things about the onboard experience from friends and colleagues, and I was keen to check it out for myself. Now, in case you haven't heard, Air India is in the midst of a transformation, and the A350 is meant to be indicative of what we can expect from the airline going forward. Now, this was actually my third time flying with Air India in business class, and I gotta say, the experience I had this time was way better than the other two times. Air India's flagship Maharaja Lounge was in the midst of a makeover when I was there, so I spent some time in the Income Privé Lounge instead. Now, in what was a first for me, I was presented with a welcome cake, and I hope that if you visit that lounge that you get the same experience. When it came time to board, I was welcomed on board the plane by 3 flight attendants, and I made my way to seat 4A. Are you ready to take your travel rewards game to the next level? Join the Prince of Travel community, your hub for connecting with fellow Canadian points enthusiasts, getting insider strategies, and staying ahead of the latest deals and promotions. Whether you're just getting started or you're a seasoned pro, our community is the place to learn, share, and unlock the full potential of your points. Visit membership.princeoftravel.com today. I gotta say, this seat looks fantastic, and it seemed like a great place for me to spend almost 17 hours on my flight to New York. One feature I loved was the footwear drawer, which came equipped with slippers I could use for the flight. Plenty of overhead bin space here. I liked how the tray table popped down from under the entertainment screen, and I thought this was a really good use of space. Now, as I looked through, there was a wide selection of movies, TV shows, and entertainment, but I couldn't resist the live camera on board. For a welcome drink, I was offered orange juice and, interestingly, buttermilk. No bubbles this time, but the OJ was refreshing in the middle of the night. The hot towel service was great too, and I loved the amenity kits in the loungewear presentation. Let's take a look inside the Ferragamo amenity kit. Socks, eye shades, body lotion, lip balm, hand cream, earplugs, and a dental kit. Pretty solid, and I love how it came wrapped in a presentation bag too. Time to get changed into the Tumi pajamas, which I've since started using at home too. Yep, these planes come with sliding privacy doors, which I found helped me get some solid rest during the flight. I spent the first part of the flight getting a bit of rest, and then woke up a few hours later to try to catch an NHL playoff game. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi wasn't able to support video or even radio streaming, so I opted to enjoy a cup of masala chai or two instead. I absolutely love Air India's crockery on the A350, especially with the Maharaja logo emblazoned on the cups. The wool blankets were also a unique touch. Throughout the flight, it was obvious that a lot of thought went into the finer details, which is something that I found really elevated the experience. A little later on, it was time for breakfast. I kicked things off with a banana smoothie before enjoying a mimosa and some sparkling water during breakfast. On the menu today, Bircher muesli, fresh fruit, a croissant, and sparkling water. Again, the attention to detail on the crockery really elevated the experience, with intricate designs on the cutlery and the tiffin box salt and pepper shaker. For my main course, I opted for the Amritsari Pindi Kole, a Punjabi-style chickpea dish served with vegetable-stuffed flatbread and spiced potato roundels. I love Indian cuisine, and I thought that this breakfast was outstanding. After my meal, I took a walk around the cabin to check out the bar that's located in the galley behind business class. It's a nice setup, though it didn't appear to get too much traffic throughout the flight. I absolutely loved the aubergine-colored glassware and found it to be very elegant. Air India serves Laurent Perrier champagne on board. And I decided to sip on some bubbles a bit later on in the flight while I caught up on the recent miles and points developments back at home and checked out the weather over Europe. The flight crew made my bed for a nap while I freshened up, and I thought it looked very inviting. I managed to get a few hours of rest before I woke up and enjoyed a nature show and relaxed. Of course, with a glass of masala chai, followed a while later by some more bubbles. As we crossed the Atlantic Ocean, we got set up for a dinner service. The starter, smoked salmon and fresh bread, followed by the main course, the tandoori barwan murg, a dish with roasted stuffed chicken rolls served in tomato sauce alongside cumin pulao, a lentil stew, sautéed vegetables, and a cucumber mint raita. I was once again very impressed with the meal service and overall presentation. To wrap things up on a sweet note, I enjoyed a coffee feuilletine parfait, which was presented beautifully on a triangular purple plate. Time for a bit more relaxing before grabbing my clothes from the closet and descending into New York JFK. In between my various awake and sleep windows, the meal service, and relaxing, the flight absolutely flew by and it didn't feel like 17 hours had already passed. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've flown with Air India in business class a few times before, and this flight was noticeably more polished from start to finish. But as the airline takes delivery of more aircraft, you'll be able to find it on a wider variety of routes, and hopefully Canadian destinations get the pick. And fortunately, this is an experience that you can also book with points, and your best option for booking is using Aeroplan points. A one-way flight between Delhi and New York will cost 90,000 Aeroplan points in business class, and you can also find the A350 on the Delhi-London route, which would cost you 60,000 Aeroplan points in business class. Now personally, I'm very excited to see how Air India will grow and continue its transformation in the coming years. Now there's still a lot of work to be done, but based on what I've seen so far, the new Air India has made strides in re-establishing itself as a world-class airline once again.